What's going on here? It's the middle of the week. Why is there an episode? Well, relax, folks. Just sit back and enjoy this half episode of Cosmere Chronicles, the podcast where we follow two first-time readers, Sheta and Justin, who chronicle their journey through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. On today's episode, we'll be previewing Warbreaker. So now, let's throw it over to the host of Cosmere Chronicles. This is Joe! All right, and welcome everyone for this kind of a half episode of the show. You know, it's that's why it's coming out in the middle of a week instead of usual Monday. I'm Joe, your host, and I'm with me again is Justin and Sheta.
Hey, welcome back. Justin, are you alive?
I guess not.
Justin!
Hello, I'm here.
Oh, thank goodness. Right. I was about to rush over there.
I died for a second, but I was able to get back up.
All right. Well,
miraculous recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was a miracle. There will be a religion based on it.
All right. So for everyone listening, if you're still listening, I don't know if the couple weeks of just having bonus episodes prevented people from coming back, but hopefully you're still here. Because today we're just going to be previewing the next book, Warbreaker, and then the next episode will just come out the normal time in a couple days. I didn't want to do this like its own episode and make you have to only have the small preview for an entire week. And of course, for anybody who may be listening to this in the future, like if it's like 2027 and you saw our podcast is like, oh, they're currently reading like Bands of Morning. You want to catch up? You don't have to wait for all the stuff because right after this, you'll be able to go into the next thing.
Wow, lucky you.
You're very optimistic that we'll all still be alive at that point. I'm glad to hear.
Anyways, it's time to go into the preview. So we're going to be leaving Scadrial, which is the planet we were just on for Mistborn. So we're leaving Scadrial. We used to be on the planet Cell, which is where Elantris was. And we're going to be going to a new planet called Nulthus.
Wow.
And for this, we'll be reading the book Warbreaker. And so Warbreaker, that was published June 9th, 2009. So I think that's about half a year after Hero of Ages.
Dang.
Yeah. Hero of Ages was October 14th, 2008. So about half a year later, we have Warbreaker. But Warbreaker was also...
Got to get him out faster.
We'll get to the point where we had when he published 4 books in a year.
Oh my goodness.
But did he write them all in the same year?
He wrote them all during... when he was at home during the whole COVID stuff. He had a lot more time on his hands because he didn't have conventions. And those were the secret projects, which is where he raised like the $48 million on Kickstarter to publish those.
Dear sweet Lord.
Wow, that's more than what Dragon Ball Evolution made.
Yes, we did just watch Dragon Ball Evolution. That's why that's brought up.
Why did you just watch Dragon Ball Evolution?
Hey, it's a good movie.
No, it wasn't. I had never seen it before, and it was not good.
Well, fun fact, Dragon Ball Evolution came out April 10th, 2009. So this book came out 2 months later.
Wow.
And nope, Dragon Ball Evolution made more in its box office. It made $56 million.
Barely more.
So Dragon Ball Evolution was a better project than anything Brandon Sanderson's ever done. Quote Joe. Everyone can quote him on that.
Wow. I didn't know you loved Dragon Ball Evolution so much, Joe.
No, it's a terrible movie. And I've watched it twice, and that was too many times. But anyways, back to Warbreaker. So this book also had like a interesting, like little bit different way how Brandon wrote it, because he wrote this book publicly. So meaning that he would write the chapters and publish them on his blog as he went.
That's interesting.
He did know that was a risk because even now you can still go onto his blog and you can read the book for free.
I always wondered if anyone did that strategy or works like that.
It's crazy. Did he have it like edited afterwards? Is it different in the book than it is on the blog?
I think it's still a little bit. I think there are still changes to it because like he would write chapters, put them on there, get comments back from people, might edit them. I don't know if he edited them on there or not, but I believe there are still differences from what he posted on there to what is actually in the published books.
That's really interesting.
Well, there are other books that were published like serialized like that online. Like The Martian was originally published like for free online, and that later got put. They got a publishing deal and then a movie.
Yeah, but it's just really interesting that he did that when he was not working that way before.
Yeah. So, and he would have started in like January 2008. So that blog would have started between the publishing of Well of Ascension and Hero of Ages.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is something where if people want to read it, and yeah, when he was writing it, he did have worries about that because, he didn't know if he put it all online for free, if that would mean that all of a sudden when it actually got published, if that would just kill sales or not. But it doesn't look like it did.
No, I'd imagine it was the opposite.
Yeah, people still get comic issues and buy graphic novels later, so that makes sense.
And then, a lot of people, pay for stuff they don't got to pay for nowadays. So you get like the real fans to be involved instead of worrying about the casual fans who don't really matter that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the casual fans aren't going to read the blog anyways. They're not going to know about it. And the real fans are going to want to support you and see what other little differences you did. So that's just an interesting thing to experiment with.
Yeah, that's something I didn't find out about that until, after I'd read the book. I didn't even know it was published like that. So, at this point
spoiler, now when it's full of a bunch of random topical memes, we'll know it's just because he was taking too much influence from the commenters.
Yes, that's totally what he would do. Totally what we've seen before.
He went to Tumblr for all his book ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Tumblr
So we're going to get even more
2008?
weird.
I have no godly idea.
I was not on there at that time, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, I was never on there. Most I ever saw, I was at a buddy's house and he was on there, and as he was scrolling through it, all I saw were just GIFs from Supernatural. But yeah, so with Warbreaker, so you kind of know when it was. It's its own thing. It's just a standalone book. It's not a series right now. He has mentioned that he has some ideas to make a sequel, but he doesn't really know if he'll be able to fit it into his writing schedule. So that's up in the air whether or not there would actually be a sequel. But as of now, it's just a standalone book.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Thought it was another trilogy or something. I'm excited.
So before we look into these covers, I'm just going to ask you two if there's anything that you'd be hoping for, looking for in this book coming up.
Well, we don't know a thing about it. Just the title. Now we know that it's a single book. I don't know why, but I just always see this image of like Thor or maybe like something like with Stormbreaker. I think that's what I keep
that's
thinking
what you're
of.
thinking of?
Yeah. Thor holding
I see.
Stormbreaker
I didn't know what the hell you
coming
were
down
talking
and
about.
putting an end to the war or something.
You just think this is going to be Infinity War? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
The main character is going to be like a horseman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that too. I keep envisioning
Wow, Sheta, you are setting yourself up for disappointment, I imagine.
I always do.
I have no expectations or what I want to see. I suppose something I have not seen yet, but also is somewhat familiar, like the last two books were to each other. I want to see a writer grow and expand upon his ideas to get even crazier. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I know it was kind of an unfair question because you literally had like nothing to work with. So now let's start looking at all sorts of different covers. And if people want to follow along, I will have posted this on both our Twitter page and our Blue Sky page, so you can follow along on there. So first it's just going to be the traditional United States cover. So it's also likely the Canada cover. And this, unlike, Mistborn, which had different covers for hardback, paperback, all that, there's only one for all those.
What?
So we got a girl with silver hair smoking a rainbow? That's what I see.
This is kind of trippy. Artsy. I did not expect this for a book called Warbreaker. Rainbow.
No, she's eating a giant fruit roll-up. That's what I'm saying.
I thought she was a ribbon twirler.
Why is it coming out of her mouth then?
Because she's a circus ribbon twirler.
Okay, I won't elaborate more. She's got a giant record necklace thing and a sword. Yep, that's what I see. So that makes me think that this is somebody who has... It's Dazzler. She's converting sound into light with her mouth, and she's got a little music thing there, a big disco dress. I'm super pumped now, Joe. I guess this is canon with Marvel.
Yeah. And then Thor will show up.
Mhm.
Actually, I'll beta rebuild is what I wanted. Yep. Sounds good.
All right. So next we'll go with the English audiobook had a different cover used for this. So this is the audiobook.
Yeah, I mean, looks like the trippy color thing is going to be a theme. Got another girl. This girl's got red hair, though. Bunch of trippy space nonsense stuff happening in the background. Narrated by a female, so I'm going to assume this girl is our main character. Yeah.
Interesting. So far, he's got female lead on most of the books. Like,
Elantris was not a female lead.
Doreen was basically
No,
also a
Raoden
lead.
was the main character of that book.
I don't know. I would split it. I would say half-half.
No, I would say 1/3 at the very least, with
What?
Raoden as the main one. Yeah,
I
because
guess
you had 3
Wraithen
point of view
too.
characters.
Never mind.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
But
Fine.
Raoden was the main one for lack of a,
Sure. Yeah. She looks like it will be the main character.
All right. So next we will go to the UK cover.
Oh, great. All right, there's a picture on it at least, even though it's that same white background, pencil shaded color crap. But we've got a girl with a sword, who I assume is that same girl. And apparently it's magic as you have never seen it before.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't want to be mean, but yeah, I don't want to be mean.
What do you mean? Being mean is half of what people would want to hear from somebody on a podcast.
Okay, these books are
Especially
from
against UK covers.
2009, you say? Like,
Yes, 2009.
I just feel like these fonts are so terrible. Like,
You feel like anyone's going to be mad that you're being mean about the fonts?
it's just
I
these
don't
are
think
supposed
anyone
to be.
cares about that.
But you were making a book cover and you can't design a new logo. I feel like this is one of the default ones in like your basic Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
Like,
It's called the UK covers. They all suck so far.
it's just
The English
Justin?
one, not English, the American one at least has kind of a more normal fantasy logo. Do you agree, Sheta, or no?
yeah. There's something more generic. Just this one for this one is so specific. Like, I use this on my high school project.
No disagreements here.
You know, Justin, I will just say there are people who absolutely love the UK covers and prefer those.
Well,
Okay.
I'm sorry for pissing you off, but I stand by what I say.
'Cause some of it I will say is like the UK covers, they're all, as you've gotten, they're all like the same thing, like mostly black and white. And each series gets its own like color. Like Elantra's had a little bit of green. I think Mistborn was that one blue.
Here's the thing. If I owned all the books lined up, they'd look pretty classy altogether. But each book on its own, I would never pick it up from a store. Not in a million years.
That's important, Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of them either. I'm just giving a reason for why people like them. And they do look really much cool. They do look pretty cool all on a shelf with all the... They match up. All right. So next we will go to... we're going to go over to Italy for their cover.
Oh, God.
All right. I'm always I think it's interesting when real pictures of models are on cover, like book covers and stuff. Interesting choice.
You got to describe it, though.
Oh yeah, it's a picture of a woman with white hair, very close up, no neck, which is weird to me. Just
Well,
her
she's got a
head.
furry collar, right?
Furry collar or hair, I feel like. Yeah.
Oh, I see that too.
And then mountains, which is the first kind of hint of setting that we've gotten so far. So far, it's just a figure floating in space type thing, but now we have some mountains on the book cover.
And we've got the sword again.
Yeah, sword.
You know, this is one of the dorkiest covers I've ever seen, which gives me a lot of hope for the book, I'm going to be honest.
It's very dorky. Yeah.
If I didn't want dorky, I wouldn't be going to fantasy. I want the things that everyone else is too cool to do.
Is that
All
what
right.
Warbreaker is? Il Conciliator?
You just offended a whole country with that pronunciation, Sheta.
It might be a little bit different. Looks like conciliator.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the conciliator.
But a lot of times titles don't translate exactly the same when you go into other countries. They'll get something that kind of means the same thing or similar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Interesting choice.
even take like manga coming over to the United States. Some of those names are nothing like the Japanese names.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to Google Translate, Il Conciliator does translate to the conciliator. So, pretty much exactly what you expected.
All right. Well, we'll go to the next book cover, which will be the Russian cover.
Wow. Now we have
Oh,
some...
yeah. Now, this is a cover. I like this. All right, so you've got this girl. She's still singing out colors. She's got
I
a
think
giant
it's her
book
hair,
this time.
Justin. Sorry.
No, it's coming out of her mouth.
Oh, you think so? Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
it is coming
seeing.
out of her mouth. That's twice now it's come out of her mouth, so I'll just say that.
You got a badass Mistborn guy in the front with a sword that's glowing out purple magic. Crazy ass orange blue city background, big ass statue. I am so pumped for this book now. I'm going to be so disappointed if this is not what I read. Am I
Yeah,
missing
it's
any
really pretty.
details?
No, well, we also finally have some buildings in the background, so it will take place in some kind of city, not just in the mountains like I thought.
Oh yeah, because you can trust covers so much. I'm still waiting
Well,
for my
that's what we're
buxom
doing.
lass from that one book's cover.
That was Vin with the push-up bra.
Oh god, no. Oh god. No, this
Yeah, Van
cover's
with the
sweet.
push-up
I
bra
want this
and long
poster.
hair.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah. Her hair got kind of long at some point. But yeah, this cover is probably the most exciting and full picture that we've gotten.
Mm.
But the rainbow theme I quite like.
All right. So next we will go over to Turkey.
We have a sword on a red cloak type thing on a rock or something.
Yeah. Pretty generic cover, to be honest.
Yeah, you're like kind of fantasy-ish book cover with, yeah. It does feel like generic. You cannot tell what's going on at all. Maybe like some Arthurian vibes, but that's it.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this version of a cover a million times before. But if it works, it works.
Yeah.
Do we know if Brandon has to approve of all these covers, or like do they just do it?
I assume that international stuff most likely doesn't. It's just like their own publishing things.
Mm.
Maybe somebody at Brandon's company like confirms it or whatnot, but I mean, I've seen other book series have covers that don't represent the series at all. I'll always go back to A Game of Thrones, where you have one of the German covers had like a shirtless Viking riding a horse, fighting wolves wielding 2 axes.
That's pretty accurate.
Or also like one of the covers, I think it was like either a Storm of Swords or a Clash of Kings. Can't remember what country it was, but the cover they had was just the 2 swords from The Witcher.
On which book?
A Clash of Kings or a Storm of Swords, one of those. That's funny. I just have a feeling when they sell the rights, it's most likely they sell the rights to the publisher, and then they'll determine that they'll like read the book and they'll make their own cover, or take whatever stock footage they have and throw it on the book.
Mm-hmm. Nice. If you're listening and you work for a publisher or something, let us know the deets if you know.
Honestly,
Like
we could
I
probably
made
find
this.
out if we searched it a little bit, but I don't care enough.
I just wonder if he ever sat through and did this, like what we're doing.
From what I know, most people, don't really give a shit how it's, marketed to another country because they know that, like, they have different sensibilities and stuff. Unless
Yeah,
they do
that's
some
true.
kind of egregious change they hear about, then people will get more pissed.
I wonder how. I never looked up see how J.K. Rowling felt about the Philosopher's Stone being changed to the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm gonna guess it didn't
Well,
affect her
she
too
made a
much because it.
fuckload of money off of it,
Yep,
so yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
I'm sure she's like, you guys do whatever you gotta do to keep this bank check rolling in.
All right. Well, next cover we're gonna go. This will be the Persian cover.
Yes, always excited for this one.
Oh, wow.
Pretty. Okay, she is blowing out rainbows and making flowers grow. I like it. There's mist, maybe.
Yeah, we got mist again.
Mist.
Kneeling with a sword on her lap, flowing magic white hair. She's either huffing that rainbow or breathing it out, one of the two.
That's true. Maybe she's a rainbow huffer. We don't know.
Boy, I'll be impressed if he can make rainbow huffers a cool thing like Mistborn.
You're a rainbow huffer. What? What is that? Here, I'll show you.
You just sniff
Lights
this
up a
glue and you'll
bomb.
find out soon enough.
Yeah. Oh.
To you preamble, or sorry to those of you who've read this book and are horribly offended by our descriptions. We don't know what any of this is, so we're not disrespecting anything. We're just guessing based on covers. I'm sure there's
Yep.
somebody sitting there like, you fucking idiots. No, stop saying that shit. This is a magical and wonderful world with great things. Stop doing that.
Trust me, I've listened to plenty of podcasts like our own for many series. And it's always the same when you're first getting into like magic and stuff, when they don't know what's going on, they're like, and they keep making all sorts of wrong guesses and kind of run with them and think that's what's happening. And you're listening, being like, no, that's not what's happening. So I'm used to it listening to other podcasts, so people will probably be used to it, hopefully, listening to ours.
Yeah. I guess they know we're first time readers, so.
Unless if somebody, I'll just warn you, if you like Warbreaker and you're jumping into our podcast with this episode, with the style of the episode, if you have not read Elantris or the Mistborn trilogy, we will likely mention anything that happens in those, so there's a good chance you'll get spoiled on those if you have not read them. That's just my warning to you. So now we'll go. Poland has a couple of different covers. So this will be the first Polish cover.
Well, that's a change of pace.
All
You
right.
got a frickin'... Oh, you got it?
No, you go.
No, I don't even know where to begin.
You had the biggest reaction. Okay, there's vampires involved. This guy is a vampire. He has red vampiric eyes and white skin and long black locks of hair and a giant glowing sword that he's leaning on like, hey, what's up? Oh. This is the first time we've seen this character. Unless it's the
Unless he's
alter
that
ego
guy
of
with
the
the
other.
hood. Could be that guy from the hood, right?
That guy with the hood is not even the same vibes as this guy. This guy's doing his own thing. This guy would never wear a hood, Justin. So,
How do you know? We don't know him at all.
you don't have hair like this and not let it go freely.
I mean, I suppose.
Interesting. The color palette's completely different too. This one's like red, fire, lava colors.
Yeah, this one's saying
No
this ain't no
rainbows.
namby girly book. This is some badass guy with a huge glowing sword.
Mm-hmm. I like his. I've never seen like almost pure white skin with like a 5 o'clock shadow. Like
I don't see a 5 o'clock shadow on there.
just
I
a little
see
one.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. He's got a little... I wouldn't say a 5 o'clock shadow, but he's got a little darkness to his mustache area
gray.
specifically.
I think that's just normal shadow because it's similar to how the darkness is on his neck.
Yeah, it's
I'd
also
say
his
no.
beard.
Yeah, it looks like his chin and neck, or not chin, his jaw and neck to me. That's what I'm saying. This
The
is a
effect
man's
is,
man, is what we're
yeah,
trying to say,
exactly. The
Joe.
effect is he's manly. He's not just a, you know, sit at
Some
home kind of
foo-foo high
vampire.
school goth. No, he's a badass who goes out and leans
He's a
on swords.
warrior.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
warrior.
I like him. I hope he's actually in the book.
Now we'll go to the second Polish cover. I know in the past sometimes I think they've had a normal one or a special edition, or this could just be published later, but this is Polish cover number 2.
Okay. Now we've got that same kind of guy. No, just
No
another guy
way.
with a beard, with a black sword, wearing a frickin' leather jacket. Am I seeing that right? What
This
the
looks like
fuck?
oh man. He looks like a rock concert goer in his like 30s. He's
It's
like
Dave Grohl.
yeah. That leather
The-
jacket seems like
That's really throwing me off.
it seems like a modern jacket, which is funny.
Yeah. Just looks like a regular jacket.
Type of guy who would buy a sword at a convention. Take this picture.
And so this guy in the leather jacket is going to fight this, like, Dark Lord guy? That's what I'm expecting now.
Yeah. Exactly. This is the hero, our main character guy, of course. He also has long hair, luscious locks, versus goth. So we have kind of a rock concert goer versus vampire goth guy. Oh my goodness.
Apparently the Rainbow Girl is just clickbait, because we ain't getting that here in Turkey at all.
Poland.
Or Poland, yeah. I'm confused now, Joe. This is taking a left turn.
This is, yeah. These are
See-
quite different.
See, that's
I
exactly
thought we had
why...
a story about a girl who sings magic. Now it's turning into the most manly thing I've ever seen.
I just hear the
See-
soundtrack completely change.
Yeah. The soundtrack is turned from like a magical,
Kind of Polish
mystical thing
rock.
to freaking like corn or
Polish-
something.
Yeah. Screamo.
That's exactly why I like showing like international because they're so different and it really confuses you as to what the book is about. And I guess unlike the last two, with like Well of Ascension of Hero Ages, we don't have anything to go off of. Those at least we had the final empire to build off.
Yeah.
One more Polish cover. This one actually came out last year. I guess for a 15th anniversary printing of the book, so they gave it a new cover.
Well, I can see why they'd like it in Poland with these covers. What the I guess that leather jacket guy turned into a Jesus. That's what I'm seeing.
So just like Kelsier. He aged maybe 20 years and got raggedy. His
Yeah.
coat had to trade in for a raggedy cloak.
That's what I'm saying.
I spent all my money on concert tickets.
His
Well,
hair
I'll never
grew
give up
twice
my
as
sword.
long. Unless he fused with that first guy. That could be what happened too.
Oh,
What the
my
fuck?
goodness.
Where'd the Rainbow Girl go? What's happening here?
Yeah, Rainbow Girl.
All right. Well, now we'll go to Germany, and they've 3 different covers from 3 different printings. So this is the first one.
Oh, great. They're taking tips from the UK.
Sturmklange.
And we got a city with a bird flying around it. There are
Yeah.
people having sex on the cover in the upper part.
What?
There's a goat, and then there's
You're
2 people
right.
doing it, and then there's a crab, and then a lion.
Oh my.
That's what I see.
Ooh, that's crazy. This is
Wait.
going to be like a adult book.
Wait, what the hell are you talking? Oh, now I see.
Yeah, you got a bunch of like astrological signs all around.
Yeah. What horoscope is that?
I don't know my horoscopes well.
Maybe Virgo?
Maybe it's Gemini. Does anyone
Well,
know?
that's interesting.
What's after Aries? That's hilarious. That's a sneaky. What country is this?
Germany.
So now we'll go to the second German cover, which came out a couple years later. So the first one was 2010. This one's 2013.
I got a knight standing on a mountain all badass with a sword.
All right. These are so different. I can't stand it. I don't
Yeah,
know
this knight doesn't fit in with the rest of it.
who is this. Everything has been either rainbow or red, and this knight is blue and silver. Completely different.
I
What?
assume nothing at this point.
Like, if
Hey, but
this was
looks
a
like he's gesturing off to the same kind of city as the first cover.
yeah, and there's still the mountains. Maybe this is the
Mountains
mountain
have
knight.
been a running theme, that's true.
Yeah. Maybe this is the mountain or the hermit knight. And he's making his way into town. I like this character too. I hope he's also in the book and not just on the cover. I wonder if it's a woman. Because look at that breastplate, you know? That's kind of a D cup right there.
I don't think so because of the build.
Well, it looks like Brienne of Tarth though, you know?
Well, yeah, if
Yeah.
it's like a really stocky woman, maybe, but I feel like we would have seen that by now if it was.
It's just the shape of the helm and the pose that is giving me those vibes. Maybe that's rainbow hair girl. Hmm?
And then we'll go into the third German cover, which I believe was like 2022.
Lady walking
Expecto
downstairs.
Patronum.
Yeah, casting a spell with a wand or sword.
That's definitely a Patronus. Oh, I like this. This is
Yeah,
pretty.
this lady's got some robe armor stuff on. It's hard to see.
It's pretty.
She
Coming
is
out of
not
a
breathing a rainbow, though.
yeah. The wand. Oh, it's a sword. It's not a wand. Okay.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a sword.
And a ruinous castle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some mystery in the castle that she's solving with her sword flashlight.
Man, these vibe is totally different in Germany.
Yeah,
It's
I
got
like
more
it.
of a traditional medieval vibe.
That's my favorite one so far.
And one other thing I noticed on these covers that neither of you two would notice, but it's like the first book in the top, it says, the co-author with Robert Jordan of The Wheel of Time. And the second two are from the best-selling author of The Way of Kings, which is one of his own books. So just the change.
So as he gets more famous.
And as these certain books become more, popular, it's like, all right, instead of connecting them to Wheel of Time, we'll go to his own.
Nice, he's made it.
All right. So next here, we're going to go with the Greek cover.
This looks like a freaking heavy metal cover.
Oh, right. I was gonna say that too. Heavy Metal Magazine.
Right, we got our rainbow breathing girl again, this time from a side profile. She's wearing a much, much skimpier robe that's flowing out
Yeah, a
behind her.
little Frank Frazetta type.
And then that sword is behind her again.
I like this cover too.
Yeah, this one's cool. I like it. And it won the Reading List Award 2010.
Ooh.
All right. And then next, we're going to go with the Czech Republic.
What the fuck, Czech Republic?
Bro, you're in my way.
Yeah, long-haired black guy talking to some guy we only see from behind who's wearing robes with the strangest like collage of tie-dye color behind it. The whole thing seems very strange to me.
It's not like a book cover image. It looks like I don't know why you would make this image. It seems like a weird picture that was taken without these people knowing. Oh my
The
goodness.
setup blocking is so weird. It's very hard to describe without seeing it how awkward I find this cover.
Two guys
Though
having a
the
conversation
characters
and you
look
kinda
cool.
stuck a
Yeah, like a casual conversation. I like the idea of it, but
we only see the back of this this forefront character,
mhm.
and it's just funny. And they're both really muscular and naked, and it's just really funny.
Yeah,
Then you
it's
guys gonna
very,
kiss or
very interesting.
or fight? Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Greece personally.
Yep. In Czech Republic, if you remember, the Mistborn covers were usually not very good. They were kind of like like a low budget 90s or early 2000s DVD menu.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Okay.
vibe. That's what it is. This feels like a dollar bin DVD you'd find. That's what it looks like. Where they just Photoshop the guy onto some generic background and call it a cover.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
the vibe I
neither of
got.
these characters are going to even be in the book, is what you're saying.
Or
No, we got the long-haired, black-haired guy. He was in it earlier.
or I also kind of get like a weird cover for a graphic novel where they take a panel from the book and just threw it on the cover.
Oh God, yeah, I can see
It
that.
does feel like a panel. It does not feel like a cover image, like I was saying.
Now we'll leave this one and we'll go to Taiwan.
What the fuck? Well, it's the sword with
Taiwan.
a bunch of trippy colors everywhere.
It's so interesting that, yeah, maybe it's just the characters of the. It makes it look. It does look like a different country.
Mm-hmm.
The
It
sword
really.
almost feels like an Asian sword or something, not like a Arthurian or European sword.
I think it's just because of that thing on the top of the hilt. Because the cut is like a English sword, but also it's got this
Oh,
little symbol in the middle that looks all this little yellow circle symbol.
yeah. It says "Made in China" on the sword.
Yep,
Just kidding.
that's what it says. Not Taiwan.
Well,
Well, in Taiwan, they consider themselves China.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah. Because to them, they're the Republic of China.
ah,
All right. Well, now we'll go to mainland China's cover.
That changed. This looks like a
hmm.
Disney movie.
This looks like the opening of Beauty and the Beast with the glass-stained windows.
Yeah. All right, we
Yes,
got
I
a
like it.
dancing girl in a rainbow coming out of a blonde guy's robe who's standing before the sun. We've got a woman breathing out some kind of ice mist. Yeah, it's got to be frost and a guy breathing out fire.
Ah, fire and
Uh,
ice. Yes,
yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like here. This is
fire and
friggin'
ice and
weird.
rainbow and sun
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes, the
darkness.
three elements fire, ice, and rainbows.
Well, there's a sun and a moon also, at the
Yes,
top
there
and
is.
bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that woman is like a harbinger of God. She comes down on a rainbow bridge onto Earth and stops the wars.
I'd like to argue with you, but at this point I can't.
Yeah, that's how it is. This is the war. Fire and ice war. I like it. I'm excited for this.
All right. Now we'll go with Brazil.
Oh, pretty.
Yep,
We have
white-haired
the
lady, rainbows, and a book. That's what we got in common.
Man, this is not what I expected from the title.
All right. And then next one will be our last cover. And this will be Bulgaria.
Okay.
Right, long-haired guy, glowing sword, haired girl. Then we got two characters we haven't seen yet. Maybe this is your sun god guy. And then Vin's
Mhm.
back.
Well, that one with the yeah. There was a kind of warrior. Well, maybe this is that one going down the castle
Oh
with
yeah,
the
you're probably right.
Patronus lady.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, I'm glad to have more than one girl character. That's interesting. I mean, main girl character.
You're making assumptions. We don't know that any of these people are in the
She's
book.
on a cover. Oh, yeah.
It'll be real weird for the American cover not to put an actual character on there.
Man, you never know. Yeah,
All right.
seems like the most straightforward cover of a sense of some of the characters, I'd assume.
All right. So those are all our covers. And so now I will need each of you to give, just going basing off the covers, what is the overall plot of this book?
Well, like I already said mine a bit, but it seems like the white-haired character will be the one with the special powers, the rainbow powers, to maybe break up. She will be the Warbreaker, is my prediction. And the other characters will be from the factions that are warring and stuff.
What's the plot, though?
Well, your normal war stuff. There'll be some kind. I think the magic will be the plot. Either fighting for the magic or fighting to discover the magic first or something like that.
All right, Justin, do you have a plot?
We've got our main guy who is either a time traveler in a leather jacket who puts on some fantasy gear or some kind of barbarian guy with a magic sword. This ancient sun god guy, he is sends his only daughter, who's this rainbow breathing girl, to Earth or to the world to save it during a war. Let's see, does she ever hold that sword? No. So she helps this guy learn how to use Warbreaker, which is the sword that's able to stop all the wars between the different elements that are happening, the different kingdoms with the different bending powers, I'll say. Then he fulfills the prophecy. There you go. All done. Perfect. 10 out of 10. A+.
Now, after looking at these covers, is there anything in them that now excites you more about the book, or anything that makes you come up with something that you want to see more after seeing these covers?
Yes. I am so excited for this pretty white-haired rainbow blower girl. Yeah, I like it. I really like the visual so far. And that contrasted with the Warbreaker title makes it very interesting for me. I thought this would be an all-war kind of book, but now I'm seeing that it's more maybe magical and pretty. So
Yeah, I like the white-haired girl too. I'm curious to learn what this rainbow stuff is. It seems like something interesting and cool. Also excited to learn what this dark magic sword thing is that the guy in black is wielding on a couple covers. It makes me think that there's going to be some interesting world building in this book. Like, whatever the makeup of of reality is, whatever the rules that create reality is. Like in the last book, we got pretty far into that kind of stuff, farther than I expected, about why anything exists, why stuff's created, what makes this a fantasy world and not just a medieval world. I have a feeling this one might go a little further in that stuff based on just some of this weird shit I'm seeing.
he has a lot of fun, doesn't he? I feel like Brandon Sanderson start like these kind of world hopping books to be like, all right, yes, I'm gonna start from scratch and I'm gonna just make up a bunch of stuff and like create an entire world. Like building is very fun. So for him to keep doing that, just and then being like, oh yes, and it's all part of my Cosmere, universe and stuff. And I think that's a really fun way to do it, so that you can just play every time you start a book. Yeah, I cannot believe how different the Mistborn trilogy was from Elantris with their powers and the magic system in the world, makeup, So yeah, this will be fun to dive into a new thing again.
Yeah, I know. For me personally, the different magic systems, not just for Cosmere, but for overall reading fantasy, I always like that at books where I start a new fantasy book, I'm dropped in, I don't know anything what's going on, and I'm trying to figure out how the magic system works. Different countries or factions are all in there, and how every fantasy book is always like, I'm just super confused at the beginning, but I know they'll be worth it by the end.
It'll be like I'll be all in the know by the end, and I'll feel super cool.
Oh, one other thing. Are there any of these covers that, say you were at a bookstore and you saw them and you just be like, oh, I'm just going to pick that up and read it? Any of these are like that for you?
Hell yeah. The one where she's standing on the stairs and the glowing guy's in the front. I would take a look at this in a second. I don't know that I'd buy it at full price, but if I saw it at like a used bookstore, it would be going home with me, sure.
Which one?
I don't remember. The one that was after
Russia.
Yeah, the Russian one. That one's badass.
Going down the stairs?
Yeah, they're just standing on stairs. Not the one where the lady's walking down the stairs.
Like the earlier one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe either just the first one or the Persian one. I really like the Persian one. The one with the black background and just like all the mist around.
Where she's kneeling?
Yeah, where she's kneeling. Or the heavy metal cover. That's the other one.
anything else either of you want to say in this preview stuff before we go into actually reading the book?
Just super excited to see after finishing seeing the new world and the new characters. It's going to be fun to dive in and learn all this stuff. Mm.
I'm very curious because it looks very different, but I assume plenty of the themes will be similar, which will be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. I'm already thinking how the magic system works, and will there be any relationships in this? Like, there's usually a love story of some kind, so I'm wondering who's dating who? Is it going to be the vampire? Is it and the other guy? I'm excited. I did not think it would be at all like any of the covers, so
All right, so I did say it on our, I did go over what chapters we're reading back on our wrap-up episode, but it's been a couple weeks, so if anybody needs a reminder, we'll be reading the prologue through chapter 4 of this book for next time. And for people just listening along, that episode should be coming out this next coming Monday at the usual time. So yeah, prologue through chapter 4. This is just a little, half episode, so no need to go over the plugs. Just the usual. If you want to email us, go to our Twitter or Blue Sky, leave ratings, comments, all that sort of stuff on different places. So yeah, everyone come back, listen to us when we start the actual book. Yeah, prologue through chapter 4.
woohoo! Warbreaker, let's go.
Yep. So until then, everyone, see ya. Have a good weekend.
Adios.
Bye.